Hello, welcome to Kinesiology, Kinesiologia. The science, the new study of incentives, the science of honesty. Another way to look at it, right? You click on today. Today, we're talking about they. Who the heck is they? You thought I was going to talk about they, him, their pronouns. No. This is they. The conspiratorial types, the manosphere types, the red pill types, the people on the right that always say they. Who's controlling us? They are going to kill us. They are going to ruin our health, education. They are the devil. They are, and beyond. I don't know what else is out there, but they. What perhaps thrusted me into making a draft on let's talk about they and who the heck is they was this PPD podcast episode where he interviewed Andrew Tate for 5 hours. Something like 4 hours 40. That was televised and or freely available, right? And there was this one question by PPD's offsider, Patrick Bet David's offsider, and he said, "Hey Andrew Tate, who is they?" Oh yeah, interesting. Who is they? And then he said the Matrix and he couldn't answer who they is. He couldn't answer who they is. Well, let me tell you, as part of kinesiology, the study of incentives, there is something incentivizing this thing of they, and there's always somebody out there to get us, somebody out there to control us, somebody out there to kill us, somebody out there to take our taxes. And just before this, incidentally, Etienne de la Boissy squared, government is a scam type content, and I sat through about half an hour. There was a talk he gave recently, and there was a half an hour's worth, and it was just roundabouts. Statism is the new religion. Icons equals flag. Prayer equals, was it constitution, or tithing is taxes. All those synonyms, relating tos of religion versus statism, and it's very appetizing. In the past, that sort of stuff has grabbed me. In the past, I've even sat through 2 and 2 is 5. I've sat through the earth is flat, the flat earthers. I've sat through the Jews thing. Dinosaurs, if the dinosaurs are real. Government as a scam. What else? They are the Rothschilds thing. Then we go through all the conspiracies. 9/11, vaccines, what else? JFK, slavery, colonialism. That's an interesting word, colonialism. So you're getting the picture. So what's incentivizing in they? They. Not gender. I've talked about gender before here, but yeah, not today. This gender thing is clumsy at the best of times, but anyway. So, who is they? I don't think we know who they is. There's been. Who would you suggest? Someone might ask. on who they might be. What if there is no they? Oh, the 1%? When we talk about the 1%, 1%, the top, if we're talking about 1% in wealth, people that earn $30,000 a year is 1% of the world's population. Oh, no, it's 1% of my country. And then, you've boosted that up to $300,000 a year. That's pretty much the go, I think, in Australia. No. 0.0001% you should be suggesting, not this 1%. 1% is nothing. If there is a they, which are wealthy and they are going to control. Jordan Peterson actually rips out a doozy into trouncing, stepping on this they business, where the top 1% or the top 0.0001%, that's a revolving door, even though there is an idea that the Medicis, the Rothschilds, they've always been there, and what's the other conspiratorial type? The Bilderbergs? Yeah, Bilderbergs. I don't even think they're influential anymore. There's a revolving door of the top 0.0001%, even with companies. Look 40 and 50 years in the past and see how many of those companies still exist. That is also a revolving door. The whole Pareto principle, which Jordan Peterson talks about often, is quite profound. And they is always changing. You try and keep at the top of the 0.0001%. I'm not sure how many O's I put in there before the one, but it doesn't really matter. It's more than 1%. It's at least a couple of decimal points over, as in less than 1%, okay? 1 in 100,000. Who's another? So there's a revolving door with the companies, the governments, and the individuals of wealth and influence. Firstly, so that will suggest no theys. There are no theys out there. It's just that we think there's a they which is constant, and the whole thing about killing us and whatnot. Well, why did we go from 500 million people to 8 billion people in a couple of centuries? There's a suggestion to indicate that the whole Malthus thing, we keep on going until we eat each other, all that sort of thing, on today's food technology that we have available, we could probably sustain 15 billion people on the planet, but we won't even probably get to 9 billion because we're going into a population slump. The only continent on the earth which is growing still in population is Africa, and they're going to slow down as well at some point. There's an indication that China might halve their population in the next century, or even by 2100, 80 years, 77 years. And Korea might only have 5% of their population in 100 years, or by the end of this century. So, wow. So we've got that going, the opposing forces. Did they organise that now? If they really wanted to have things happen, wouldn't they have already made it happen? For the biblical types of end of times and the like. Wouldn't Russian Revolution and Stalin and Hitler and all that sort of thing, the people that were subject to that, wouldn't they think it was the end of the times? It was the end of them. But as White Pill. There's a book called White Pill. Michael Malice. He spent 80% of his books suggesting, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible. Oh, the white pill, this is about a white pill. He's into the second last chapter, and then he kicks into White Pill. But here we are. We got rid of Hitler, Stalin, Mao, and the like. And we're living in this miracle. I've got my air conditioning going on at the moment, set on heat, because I want to have the same look of living in the tropics. So we are living in the most prosperous time in human history and future, perhaps. So what's they waiting for if it comes to killing us all? Why are they waiting? Whoever they is. 4 or 5 billion people got vaccines. Why aren't 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 billion people dead? If that is the case. Ooh. Yes, I've done content on anti-vax type material on my other shtick, my real health, my health content. But those that really know what my content is on vaccines and health would suggest that I'm not for or against vaccines. I've got a third stance. There's pro-vax and anti-vax, right? I've got AVAX, where they're a nothing burger, that they don't harm or help us. I'm not sure how that, I've shoehorned that into they. Another individual which did a fairly good job in trying to explain who they is this chap called, oh no, I have a feeling if I say this name that that I'm on the wrong side of the fence for some. Shiva Ayyadurai. Oh no, I said it. Yes, Shiva Ayyadurai meant he's a Republican wanting to be elected as a Republican for, is it Texas somewhere, or is it Florida? Apologies, don't know. Doesn't really matter here. He did a good job in suggesting that they is the top 10,000. The top 10,000. Not the, is it 13 families or the 300 or the Bilderbergs, the royal family, the this and that. There's 10,000. And he suggests that those 10,000 are the MIT, the Boston, Harvard, and the bankers, CEOs of the world's top companies and that sort of thing. And they exist within each other's sphere. They know each other. When one leaves one organization in the S&P 500, they go to another organization of the S&P 500. If they don't go to the S&P 500 complex, they end up in high government appointment, or more often the case, high government appointment. You end up in one of the S&P 500 companies, and then you get rewarded handsomely. So that's part of a well-explained they situation. They in controlling us. What is control? Taxes? Yeah. That quick example of Etienne de la Boetie squared. I think I got that right. Where he suggests that government is a scam and whatnot, and They're just designed to get taxes off us. Government takes taxes off us and they make new money and they hyperinflate and this and that. Well, hyperinflation in a small area like the Zimbabwe's or the Third Reich. No, Third Reich was Hitler, just before Hitler. The 20s in Germany, where they hyperinflated post World War I. It can happen quickly, but it's controlled, this whole inflation thing, and everyone's doing it. How much longer can it go for? Anything that continues on a parabolic fashion can only continue until it can't continue anymore. Well, that's what they thought since the closing of the gold window by Richard Nixon in 1971. We're still going strong. What continues, which doesn't make sense, can't continue. Well, don't know. What does forever mean? Does forever mean until our generation dies off? Well, I'm afraid forever means a lot more than that. And there's an indication, there's some work being done by someone that Jordan Peterson has had some discussions with, or podcasts, episodes with Bjorn Lomborg. He's worked for the United Nations, economic forecasts and the like. And they suggest that by the next century we'll be 350% better off. If you factor in some of the breaks of climate change type legislation, we'll only grow 330% more. Who's going to be more right? Will it be the biblical end of times types where we won't exist any longer, or being 330% more richer? If they is out to get us, why are we still here even now? Why didn't they come and get us? World War II, World War I. Name any other era. Why didn't it happen 1,000 years after Christ? Why didn't it happen 2,000 years after Christ? Are we even 2,000 years? That'll be perhaps 2033. Yeah. They. An interesting part of our existence lexicon, which the right use nicely, the biblical types use lovelily. Does the left have a they? The left side of politics would have a they, like the fascists, the white supremacists, the men and the like. So postmodernist philosophy types. Yeah. Who else is they? I don't know where I'm going any further with this. Should I stop while I was never ahead? Wherever you reside with your ideology, your psyche, your emotional mood or feelings, they will have an entity all their own as we speak past each other until we think one day, when our living standards are perhaps even better than now, that they are still out to get us while we smoke a cigar, where all of us perhaps have a robot to bring us a drink. What a crappy example. Where they will get us while every one of us have a chance, have the ability to be on a beach, on a hammock, sipping on a cocktail. That's achievable by anybody, 90% of the world's population right this minute. And they are still out to get us. Bloody hell, what are they waiting for? Is 21 minutes enough for today? I am going to cut it right there, I think. I feel that I'm ahead. So I'll cut it there. That was an attempt on they. I don't think there is a they. Okay. I'll hijack my summary by suggesting what they perhaps is for people that don't have a particular incentive to exist in blaming their state, their poor state. They're in the top 2%, earning 20 grand a year in the world. Blaming their divorce, blaming their loss of job, they don't have a Lamborghini. It's probably a ploy. Probably? No. Definitely a ploy. An incentive. The incentive of using they is to blame your inadequacies away, perhaps. And being a Marxist, a libertarian even. Oh, those multinationals, this and that. You see, I could probably go on forever. Being on a particular ideological stance. How about they, if you're a vegan, they are harming animals to feed us, therefore we shouldn't eat animals, and the like. They, in the realm of entertainment, music and movies, are programming us. They are programming us too. This is coming from the right side of the political aisle. They are programming us to not marry, not have kids, and then die. Well, in a way, that's happening because we're going into a population crunch, aren't we? Demographers have suggested that. Stop bumping your light, Steve-O. I didn't bump you then. I didn't bump you. Stop. Sorry for the podcast people. You get it. There are a couple of examples of the they-ness talking past each other to blame our inadequacies, our misfortunes, our failure to thrive. Failure to, what's the other word? Failure to launch. So let's have a they taking too much of my tax, taking whatever. And that's why we are trodden on, tamed. We can't get ahead. Let's perhaps compare ourselves to even 20 years ago, 70 years ago, 200 years ago and beyond to suggest that, come on, I think we have it okay at least. Just a quick sum up in soothing that you may be better than your grandparents, great grandparents and beyond. And your kids, maybe, because we're having less kids, those that are still having kids, your grandkids and beyond, might be even richer beyond our dreams. And just to, as another effort to sum up, my grandfather walked, my father had a Cadillac, I've got a Mercedes, my son will have a Ferrari, my grandson will walk. Maybe my grandson will have a bloody jet. Yeah, anyway, who knows for sure? But don't be surprised if our living standards, our life might be even greater than it is now. And if they are really trying to kill us, why are we still here? Why are we so lucky that they haven't got us yet? Or they haven't killed half the population yet that have received a vaccine, this nanoparticle and the EMFs and the... Until they have got you, maybe they aren't even there. How about that for a sum up? I'm going to quit it on that. Right, until the next time, thanks for your interest in this attempt at unpacking another issue. I can see the red there and the red stop button on the other device. Until the next time, bye-bye.